Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I am wondering who is going to listen to what David Ndii is saying. And David Ndii is making a revelation now that after reports circulated that the government was broke, he is confirming that as and in his capacity as the chair of the Economic Council, that they were in a dilemma between servicing the debts or paying salaries, that Kenya was at the risk of defaulting. This is a very bad news to us. And if you are in a situation where you can't pay the two, you can't balance, I don't think there is any that comes secondary to any of each. There is none which is primary. All of them, they are concurrent. And I am seeing a reaction, someone asking, and I'm just picking it this way. What is in the Employment Act? What is the level of the arrogance? If the kitchen is too hot, then just live out. I think the scapegoats, issuing these scapegoats are not really a very good way to handle the situations. We have politicians spending 3 billions to buy cars and money to roam over the world. A bloated CAS, a bloated government with quite a number siphoning public funds. But when it comes to such a very important way, you realize that we are actually trying to create scapegoats. I'm saying because I think government is a big machinery and is a system. The system is possible to detect. It is possible for the system to detect. Are we falling off the way or are we right on track? David Ndii is telling us that indeed the salary delay is as a result of revenue shrinking. It is as a result of government being in a position, not in a position to cover the two. Now, I've been trying to follow up. I read that article and he's saying it is not only servicing the international debts, but even the local debts that government owes banks within here. And because there was a bit of some cash crunch. And I don't know who is supposed to take this explanation. Sometimes we don't really make a lot of sense. And in fact, I see Ruto falling into creating his own problems down here. Government is one of the largest employers. Is an employer. Is an employer and one of the biggest employers in this country. But something happened after these reports circulated. The corridors came out and Kimani Ichung'wah is saying that William Ruto was forced to splash the salaries for the MPs on Wednesday and Thursdays night in a move that was seen to avert that narrative being propelled by the members of parliament. That is a statement. That is something that has come exclusively from the state. While KBC was crying, KBC staff were saying they're not being paid, and I've also confirmed a couple of some two sectors were also hit by it. Amongst the civil servants, there are some two essential service providers were also affected by that delay. So what exactly is happening? Is the system collapsing? And what is Ruto staring at? Because this should be an alarm. We are just 7 months, not even 7, we are in April, 8 months in power. And we've started grappling with delay in paying salaries. Now, I'm not saying that, and I'm glad someone is saying that the politicians are learning it the hard way. I've never had a privilege of working in the government office or rather in a government sector. I think for a bit of my formal employment was in the private sector, and in none. Of course, NGO is also a private sector, obviously. Salary cuts during COVID was normal and delay. By the way, I lost my job during COVID. I lost my media job during COVID, and the cuts was a normal phenomena. People in the private Kenyans are now contending with the delays. Some are not even paid. It is not something new. But then for the political class, this is a lesson for them to see that we need to sit down and fix things. Just thumping that you can do whatever you want and you're not going to move us is not going to change this country. We need to sit down and fix this. County government remittance has delayed. Civil servants, and Azimio is saying that there is a problem with who is supposed to collect the revenue. Is it stage managed to delay? Is it a stage managed delay to propagate a narrative by Uhuru Kenyatta that we left empty coffers? Is it? You need to ask about that. But according to new development, it seems there is something that is going on. And I want to revisit this. There's some four ghosts that William Ruto will have to deal with. If he cannot deal with this, then he runs the risk of plunging this country into a full-blown crisis. This is already a crisis. What is being reported now is already a crisis. And if you don't manage it, it will get to a full-blown crisis. Kindly subscribe to our channel. What exactly is going on about this we are broke thing? When President Ruto took over, there was a lot of political replacements. Replacements on political expediency. The taxman, this is the body that collects the revenue. It was shaked, by people being removed here and there and putting other people. And I remember analyzing here that with just the sudden changes, we run the risk of creating hostility within institutions, and the service delivery, or rather the operations, could actually get halted. I would prefer, and Ruto would have listened to me, I said, instead of chasing away those who you believe worked with Uhuru Kenyatta, and because they worked with Uhuru Kenyatta, they could not work with you, you would have just, instead of chasing them to bring the people that funded your campaigns, you would have just remained with Uhuru Kenyatta's loyalists, because for them, they owe you, they need to prove to you a point that they can work with you. Now, at the taxman, when the rubber meets the road, the bus stops with the leadership at the taxman. Carry. So one of the ghosts that President Ruto must then deal with here is because they are the custodians of our revenue. The March target was actually below whatever. Even at the height of those demonstrations, they could not call the country into order and say that, look here, even us as the tax collectors, we are getting less, or rather, our work is being affected. Because we feel political right with the political leadership, we cannot. So we are in a situation where if Ruto is doing something at the top and it causing trouble, no one is going to ask, no one is going to question that. At the tax collector, the taxman, we need to interrogate what exactly is going on. That's one of the ghosts. And these are some of the people that can bring down Kenya Kwanza, deliberately or not. The second office, and these are 6 people, these are some 4 people I believe need to look at, is state event planner. Oh, we are spending a lot of money in planning state events that are supposed to be church services and turning them into state events. I remember following the interdenominational service in Laikipia, where the state planner, the national state planner, revealed how he had to coordinate with county committee and the clergy committee and the national committee to make sure that the event is brought to order. Now, just taking that example, how much are we spending in unnecessary petty events? I still don't understand how a Nairobi River Commission is being launched in public using taxpayers' money. Sielewi. Sielewi. I still don't understand why, if you are launching affordable housing project, you need to go to that place and put tents and speakers and walk into the project site for 10 minutes and spend a whole day with the politicians in the tent speaking politics 10% about coming from their lips about the affordable housing project. We don't get it. I still don't, and it doesn't work. I still don't understand how a food donation exercise, and I think we made that noise, an exercise that should be coordinated with the provincial administration team ranks, the chiefs and assistant chiefs, turns into a state function, and we spend our money, taxpayers' money, to put tents and sounds and mobilize politicians and mobilize crowds so that we get time and opportunity to politic. I don't get it. And as if that is not enough, look at the prayer. Look at what happened on 14th February on the Valentine's. We are going to pray, and I was literally there until even paying pastors. We have our own problems. Na tukiendelea hivi, we are not going to solve any. We have ghost workers, quite a number of them. We need to look at it. Just looking at what happened in Kisii, that is county government. How many the other counties have not done it. Not all counties did that audit. Really need to know who is being paid and is not working. There is one person we are very sure is being paid and is not working. That person is Cabinet Administrative Secretary, a very bogus office. That person is not working and is being paid with hefty allowances. Those are ghost workers. That is where the problem is. And lastly, everything is about political mobilization. We are spending a lot. You know, the budget at the 2 offices was actually ballooned because of political mobilization. The moment we stop getting worried, thinking about 2032 and start working, we'll handle this problem. But before that, I think David Ndii will really have to come to TVs to defend. I don't know for how long government will be in a defensive position. That's my take.